Welcome to We the People, a new birth of freedom. Once again, thank you so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, the notification bell, tell your friends, relatives, neighbors, acquaintances, and your enemies. And please, leave your comments below. Ask questions. I'll get back to you. I just want this to be a quick video, kind of a follow-up from yesterday. The incident with Rosa Parks contains many details that needs to be looked at carefully. And one of those details that I spoke about yesterday was that she was sitting in the designated place for the colored people to sit. When she stepped onto the bus, she went straight to the section that by law, or should I say by statute, was a section strictly for the colored people to sit. That's where she was sitting. She was obeying the law. This is extremely important because it gives us an example of how politics is nothing but a game. If you think you're going to find truth in politics, you're wrong. If you think political-minded people are concerned with truth, you're wrong. You can't find truth in politics. You have to find truth in principle. Politics has no principle. It's like everything can be changed on a whim. It's like, let's make up the rules as we go. But notice, she was sitting in the designated place by statute for the colored people. As she took her seat and the bus continued to fill up with whites, the white section seating area was filled up. And there were several whites that needed a place to sit. So the bus driver went to the black section, the colored section, and said, you're going to have to give up your seats, relinquish your seats, because there's some whites that need a place to sit, and you're just going to have to stand. As I mentioned, according to history, several of the colored people relinquished their seats. Rosa Parks refused. She was well in her right to sit in the designated place for the colored people. But see, politics. Let's take it even beyond politics. Prejudice. Let's use the word prejudice. Hatred, malice toward a race of people knows no boundaries, knows no limitations. Hate has no limitations. It can even lead people to do things that they didn't think they would do. You see, we're all just one circumstance away from revealing something inside of us that we may not know is there. So, because she refused to give up her lawful, rightful seat, the bus driver said, well, I'll call the police. So he called the police, and even though she was obeying the statute, she was still arrested. And there's a picture of her holding the little name tag up and the number after she was arrested. That's why I have no confidence. I'm sorry. I have no confidence in politics. I have no confidence in people that want to call themselves a politician. I like the old, it's kind of a cliche, but I like the old example of what politics are. It's many ticks, many blood-sucking ticks. That's all it is. If I was going to go into some position of working for the government in that capacity, I would rather be called a statesman, not a politician. I think even if you look up the word or the definition of the word statesman as opposed to politician, they're a world apart. But anyway, it shows, excuse me, it shows how politics can be changed on a whim. It's governed by emotion rather than facts and truth. So I really want to emphasize that in this short video. to show that not only was the 13th Amendment being totally disregarded, the supreme law of the land being totally disregarded, because they were forced into involuntary servitude, but even after politics enacted a statute that made a place designated for colored people to sit, that even that wasn't good enough. And she had to go through the criminal justice process because she was only doing something lawful. Oh, my. I just, I marvel at the ignorance and the stupidity. And as I said in the previous video, I find it hard to understand why politicians aren't taught, they're just not taught to read. They redefine stupidity. And if you've watched any of my previous videos, I like to point out that I believe that 10% of our elected officials are true American patriot statesmen. I believe 10% of the elected officials are absolutely corrupt. The other 80%, well, they wish they could be statesmen. I know that might seem an unfair statement, but at this time, that's the way I see it. I have no proof of that. That's just as I see it in my mind. So anyway, I just wanted to re-emphasize that politics cannot be trusted. And remember, and if you've been watching my videos, you've heard me say this before, if we can't trust government representatives with our money, and what do we have, a $22 trillion deficit? If you can't trust them with your money, you want to trust them with your lives, your liberty, and your pursuit of happiness? You want them to dictate how you live your life, how you experience your liberty, and govern your pursuit of happiness? Is that what you want? Are you sure? Well, you need to really think about that. So until next time, be a true American, and God bless.